Hey everyone, how are you? I wanted to go ahead. Now, if you missed Found Out Friday on Friday, so today's Tuesday, I want you to go back. If you have not followed me before and have just found me via YouTube, I do have a public Facebook page called, it's an original name, Landis Felt's The Zoe Life. I know you're shocked. There is all sorts of stuff in there. I've been doing videos off and on there for several years. And for YouTube, because I have people that are just finding me now, I wanted to kind of go over some basic structural things in learning in the spirit so that you could see where I was coming from and kind of where this foundation has started, and then it grew, and then we've just grown upon that. So I talked about John 10:10. Today, I want to talk about John 10, but I want to talk about some scriptures up above that, specifically the very first part of the chapter. So I love this parable, and I love the way that this looks. This is a teaching I heard a long time ago, and I've never forgotten it. And it is a fabulous teaching because it allows you to kind of step back, take a breath, have some perspective, and then step back in. Okay? So in John, Jesus starts telling them in John 10, he starts telling them about the shepherd. Now, do you think that they probably understood the purpose of a shepherd? There are tons of shepherds that they were in and around them. Heck, David was their king generations and generations ago, and he was heralded all the way through history. And in the process of that, they knew exactly what his job was. Psalm 23, that's a huge scripture. So they had an idea, but Jesus wanted to continue that knowledge. And so he talks about, basically the summation of it is, whoever the shepherd is at night, there may be a group of shepherds even that come together. But the shepherds come together at night. They have a pen and they have a door. And at night, all the sheep go into the pen and they close the door. And that way the sheep can't get out. And the chances of beasts and predators coming to get them is minimal. Biblically, beasts represent the demonic. Okay? So the sheep go in the pen, shepherd closes it, then that gives them protection. Okay? Then he says, in the morning, the watchman opens the door for this man. This man is the shepherd. And the sheep listen to his voice and heed it. And he calls his own sheep by name and brings or leads them out. Okay. They didn't have brands. They didn't have modern day livestock ear tags. They didn't have anything like that. They went, and sheep look alike, The shepherd went, and the watchman opened the door. Okay, the watchman opened the door. Jesus came. Who's the watchman? It's the Lord. Okay, it's God. The watchman opens the door so Jesus can come. The gate is open, and he calls them by name. Notice that each one of the sheep have a name. He calls them by name, and they hear his voice, and he leads them out. Okay, all of this seems very basic and elementary. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. If you in life are being driven, it is not by the shepherd. It's not by the shepherd. In 10, I'm going to remind you that it said, the thief comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So if you're being driven, you're going to the butcher, right? Right? But if you're being led by his voice, then it's the shepherd leading you. It is going to be gentle. It is going to be by name. So what is that going to be? It's going to be intimate. It's going to be personal. And it's not going to be a nipping at your heels. It is going to be a gentle leading. When he has brought his own sheep outside, he walks on before them. and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will never on any account follow a stranger, but will run away from him because they do not know the voice of the stranger or recognize his call. Guys, the more time you spend with the Lord, the more you know his voice. I think this is so true. Sometimes we go, is that me? Is that him? Is that the enemy? Is it my flesh? What is it? He calls them by name, and he tells you and leads you gently